Looking for the less known, less crowded Japan? Then you must include a visit to Mojiko, Takayama, or Obuse.
No list of the unique, less crowded is complete without mentioning the amazing waterfront town of Mojiko. We have not found another town like Mojiko in all of Japan, and that's the truth. Situated on the northern tip of the island of Kyushu, it is slightly more than an hour from Hiroshima on the Sakura Shinkansen line to Kokura, then taking the local train to Mojiko. When you step off the train, it's as if you've gone back in time to the early 1900s. Mojiko was a bustling port town at the turn of the last century and is situated on the Kanmon Strait, which separates Japan's main island of Honshu with Kyushu. You have everything from art galleries to ice cream shops to souvenir shops. Surrounding the harbor and throughout the town, you'll find outstanding examples of Meiji-era architecture, such as the former Customs House, now turned into an art gallery on the upper floors, and the Moon Fruits Cafe, where you can enjoy a delightful strawberry parfait. Then there's the Friendship Memorial Hall, which is an exact replica of the China Railway Eastern Steamship offices, and the former Mitsui Shipping Line's headquarters, which now features the Beer Pudding Hall restaurant and bar with its delicious offerings. And then there's the former Moji Social Club with its fine dining restaurant and most famous as a place of lodging for Albert Einstein in 1922. For something newer, you can take the elevator 30 floors up to the observation room of the Mojiko Retro Tower and take in the views of the strait and the town. Enjoy a short cruise in the Moji Runabout. The captain speaks English and takes you on a tour of the inner harbor, passing under the drawbridge and out onto the Kanmon Strait. The strait is one of the busiest in Japan as it connects the Sea of Japan to the west with the Seto Inland Sea and Pacific to the east. Depending on the wind and waves, it can get a little choppy, but this provided us a totally different perspective of the area from the water. It's a delightful way to spend a few minutes while in town. Back on dry land, you'll find the 5-story Kanmon Strait Museum. It's surprising to find such a world-class museum in an off-the-beaten-path town such as Mojiko. Inside, you'll see the multi-story atrium with its 2-story video screen and surrounding balcony. There are interactive displays for the kids, and elsewhere in the museum there are classical displays depicting the history of the strait, as it was the scene of many battles for control of the merchant traffic. On the ground level, you'll find the admission-free Mojiko Retro Street. This is a reproduction of what downtown Mojiko looked like during the Roaring '20s, as it was a bustling port with the primary import being that of bananas. For that reason, you will see a banana motif throughout the town, such as the Instagrammable Banana Man. On the upper floors of the museum, and also admission-free, is a cafe and restaurant with exceptional views of the strait. Come up here to enjoy a coffee and just watch the shipping traffic go by. For another great view, take the short bus ride to the Mekarai Seaside Promenade at the base of the Kanmon Strait Bridge. We are standing at the Kanmon Strait on the island of Kyushu. Right across the way is the island of Honshu, the main island of Japan. Now, in a few minutes, Josephine and I are going to do something we've never done before. We're going to go underwater and walk underneath the strait in a pedestrian tunnel and come out the other side. Yes, you can walk under the strait approximately 800 meters to the island of Honshu. Now, before you have images of a glass tunnel with water all around you, that's not what this is. This is a true subterranean tunnel with no windows, so there's really nothing to see. But the thought of being that deep underwater is an interesting one. Coming out the other side and up the elevator, you're greeted by the Mimosu Sogawu Park, which marks the location of the Battle of Kanmon Strait in 1864, with its row of impressive smoothbore cannon. After a short uphill walk, you come to the entrance of the Hinoyama cable car. The ride up the mountain provides excellent views of the strait and the island of Kyushu in the distance. From the top, you'll have a 360-degree view of the entire realm. And why stop with the views outside when even the restrooms have a view? Now, in Japan, one of the very popular dishes is curry. Curry served over rice with beef, vegetables, things like that. But here in Mojiko, they've got a unique style of curry. It's baked curry. Imagine, if you would, a lasagna dish, a small lasagna dish with the curry, the rice on the bottom, curry on the top, the beef, and then they put on top of it a layer of cheese and bake it, serve it piping hot. It is unique. It's a great flavor, a little bit different than everything else you find in most places of Japan. We have fallen in love with Mojiko, the history of it, the architecture, the food, the waterfront. We went up on the ropeway earlier today across the Kanmon Strait.
You just got to put this on your list. It's an amazing place to come to.
Next, we travel to Takayama, a more well-known destination and one we've selected due to its pedestrian-friendly historic district and its lesser-known neighbor of Hida Takayama. Takayama is around 2.5 hours by train from Nagoya, and the train ride is one of our favorites as it takes you through the Hida Valley along the Hida River. Takayama is becoming known as a Little Kyoto due to its historic walking districts reminiscent of those in Kyoto. Of course, the biggest difference is that much of Kyoto is overrun with tourists, so much so that it has lost much of its charm in many areas. But in Takayama, the area along Sanmachidori is lined with well-preserved Edo-style buildings and homes, many of which are now shops, restaurants, and inns. Just take a stroll along the many blocks of historic streets and it's as if you step back in time. Takayama was spared the bombing of World War II, and thus much of its historic buildings have survived and continue to attract visitors. Here you will find several house museums. The Kusakabe House and the Yoshijima House were built in the mid-1800s. Both are similar in style, featuring high-ceiling common rooms with tatami mats on most floors. There are 2 and 3 levels to explore, and both have interior courtyards that bring in light through the sliding shoji screens. The Yoshijima House was owned by a wealthy sake brewing family, and the Kusakabe owned by a merchant family.
Now we're here at the Miyagawa Morning Market. It takes place every morning from about 7 a.m. to noon in Takayama. It's along the Miyagawa River over here. Along the street here is closed off to just pedestrians, is all it is. You'll find about 30 to 40 different stalls and shops along the way. Everything from handicrafts, carvings, to grocery items, to all kinds of unique things. So let's go check it out.
On the north end of the Sanmachi district is the Takayama Matsuri Yatai Kaiken Museum. Don't try pronouncing it, it's a mouthful. This is where you'll find on display several of the festival floats that are brought out twice a year in Takayama for their Takayama Matsuri, or festival, held in April and October. You've likely seen images of these festivals and floats, and this is your chance to see them up close without the crowds. Next door is the Sakurayama Nikkokan Museum, which is primarily a large room displaying models of the various shrines and temples of Nikko. If you're not familiar with Nikko, you might consider putting it on your itinerary as well. Nikko is perhaps the best place in the country to see such a concentration of amazing architecture. This display showcases the buildings in miniature of Nikko in great detail. It took 15 years to create these back in the 1920s, and they are stunning. If you have an appreciation for fine woodwork or models, you'll certainly enjoy this place. Plus, it is rarely crowded, and of course it's air conditioned. Admission to both this museum and the Float Museum are on the same ticket.
Now folks, if you're visiting Takayama, which we highly recommend you do, when you're there, come up about 15 minutes further north to Hida Takayama. It's a smaller village. It's really well known for the canal district. There are over 1,000 carp floating in these canals, which we'll see in a moment. But we're standing at the central plaza, surrounded by all kinds of beautiful architecture from the Edo period. So definitely make a stop if you can. Now, since you're enjoying this video, make sure you watch others on lesser known parts of Japan as well. Click that like and subscribe button, therefore we know we're doing something right when we hear from you, and also click the notification button. That way you're made aware every time we upload a new video. It's free, it's easy, and you won't be put on any mailing list, so do it now.
And for a taste of the less known, less crowded Japan, you also must consider a visit to Obuse. Obuse is a smallish town just outside Nagano, best known for its massive Zenkoji temple complex and is home to the 1998 Winter Olympics. But just a few minutes north is the delightful town of Obuse. Obuse is known for several things you'll find interesting. It was the home to one of Japan's most famous sons, Katsushika Hokusai, in his later years. Are you familiar with this image? Most people refer to it as the Great Wave, and it is one of the most recognized images in the world. However, its real title is Under the Wave off Kanagawa. In the pedestrian-friendly central district of Obuse, you'll find the Hokusai Museum, featuring dozens of his original works, which number up to 30,000 in total. This is a very informative, first-class museum taking you through Hokusai's life and showing the labor and time-intense method of creating stunning woodblock prints. The museum has plenty of English language signage, therefore you'll be able to easily interpret what you're viewing. Included in the museum are 2 festival floats featuring ceilings painted by Hokusai. It's a delightful stop, especially on a warm summer day. Stepping just outside the museum, you're greeted with the relaxing scene of central Obuse. Wander from street to street and alley to alley exploring this little-known but pleasing town. There's plenty to see and do here. Another thing for which Obuse is well known is chestnuts. Everywhere you turn, you'll see window displays of chestnut Mont Blanc desserts and chestnut-themed restaurants. Many are tucked away down side alleys that provide you a relaxing venue in which to enjoy either a meal or a snack, such as this sweet bean paste filled bear at the Kuma-san Yaki Cafe. Restaurants abound around this town square in the back streets. Take your time and enjoy the day. You never know what you might find when you come around the corner. Several shops in town sell all manner of chestnut-filled delights, such as this one with small cakes stuffed with sweetened chestnut paste. And if you venture out back of this one, you might just find yourself confronted with an enormous rhinoceros beetle. Can't say I know the significance of the statue, but the rhinoceros beetle has a prominent place in Japanese literature and art. Wandering along the streets, you'll have plenty of opportunities to shop for fruit and sake, as well as take in the Kozan Takai Museum, documenting the life of this wealthy area farmer and sake brewer from the Edo period. Takai's family founded this, the Masuichi Ichimura Sake Brewery, in 1755. Takai was a longtime benefactor of Hokusai and largely responsible for introducing Hokusai to the town during his later years. There are numerous fruit stands and shops along the streets offering the area's famous apples and yuzu, a citrus lemony type fruit. You can even sample chestnut-flavored ice cream and see how the locals roast the chestnuts to make their sweet paste. The many alleys, shops, and museums make Obuse a delightful place to escape the crowds and discover another of Japan's lesser-known treasures. So escape the crowds of Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, and venture to places like Obuse, Takayama, and Mojiko. These are some of Japan's finer, lesser-known smaller towns where you'll have an incredible experience without the crowds. Send us an email and let us know your questions or ideas for future videos. And until next time, sayonara.